Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, February 21st. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and the NQ. A lot to do today. We'll go over all the charts. So what transpired today, now I have these in bigger increments because the ranges were so large. It's the second largest range of the year in SPY and ES. NQ is very large. Volume over 60 million. I guess you can break out the confetti. Might be the second highest of the year, but that's still very, very light considering the range we had and how much we were down on the day. Triple Qs, again, they're averaging 30 million. They did 45 million. We're averaging 45 million. SPY did 65. Is that something to write home about? No. It's still short-term players that are selling this market. Even IWM, they averaged 24 million, they did 44 million. But they stopped at very visual areas, which we'll get to in a moment. This is just a case of the market rallying late yesterday. Now, it was short overnight, but the whole thing was done with higher value because, again, we were in spitting distance of the all-time high. Remember, we just stretched it in ES. Yes, SPY and triple Qs went higher. NQ didn't even get near their balance high. And now the market, at least for now, rolled over. The dailies are now down. Okay? ES and NQ dailies are down. We wipe out a lot of poor structure when you go up on light volume. Now, we went down on light volume too, but you wiped all this out. You go out with a very, very strong trend day with, it is 4 distributions, with 4 distributions. So what do we mean by that? It means we'll treat today as 4 separate days on Monday. The 4 distributions, the first one is A's low to A's high. Then we went trend. The second distribution is from E's high to F's low. That's your second. Your third distribution starts at I's high to I's low. You were 3 wide. And then the fourth distribution is M's high to the day's low. Okay? I traded 10 out of the 13 time frames today, and every trade was a short. It is rare we get these kind of days that are very, very accommodating. We didn't even have, and forget about an afternoon rally high, we didn't even have an attempt at one. We didn't come close to taking out a time frame high where we would have considered an afternoon rally high. M period finally stopped the one-time framing down late in the day. I tried to tell the room throughout the day, this is not the day to try to pick bottoms. Now, let's go over a couple of things. And this video might be longer, but I certainly hope it helps. We went trend in B period, okay? But then we did have two-sided trade as we were 5 wide here. But I wasn't looking for longs at D's highs. Still looking for shorts inside the single prints. Then the market absolutely ripped below the day's low in F and didn't look back. So you went from two-sided trade, and I always told people, you got to use C as low as you're out. You better have an out below there because the bears are controlling everything. Our checklist sheet was very heavily skewed to the bears. Everything. Value, indices, overnight low, IB low, trend day, you name it, the opening. We had an opening drive down today. You realize that. Boy, oh boy, did it hold. So once you came out of this two-sided trade, now I want you to also realize when we were having this two-sided trade, I said to the room, one of 2 things is going to happen here. We're either going to get an afternoon rally high, which I will look to short, or maybe this is a rest period and they're going to get going again. Well, guess what? They got going again. Doesn't mean you should be looking just, if so many people just think we're going to constantly come back and take back the whole day. Yesterday's another example of that they did. or most of it. Remember, we had a sell tail yesterday. It did hold, and it continues to hold. And we have excess today at today's highs. Then I was talking to people in the room when we were trading lower, and they were like, I can't short a market that's down 100 points or whatever. I'm like, that's all well and good. But that doesn't mean you should be long in it. That's for damn sure. No trade is a trade also. Now, we did get, once again, two-sided trade down here. Okay? But for me, I just shorted J, K, and L. I didn't do anything in M. And I made money in all three of them. Now, some people long down here, and they were making money. It was two-sided trade. But there's no way I'm looking for a long today with all the MGI. The one interesting thing is look how close we came to taking out last week's low. We missed it by 3 ticks. Why is that important? Because if we had taken it out, there would have been a possibility of an outside week down. Because remember, we took out last week's high. Now, we're still in balance on the monthly and weekly. You know, it's not the death march of the bulls yet. Yes, the daily is down. But right now, the bigger time frames are still in balance. But the first thing you have to do is put the daily down, which we did today. Okay? Righty. We'll look at righty, but look at this. This is such a beautiful example of what the profile can show you. We were using this day as our balance low on the daily. Look at this. I know it's small. Look how many days are underwater. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 days of longs on the water. You think that's who was puking it up today? Of course it was. Of course. They might even be down the weekly. I haven't looked at their chart. So it's very visual what's going on. A lot of times I tell people, stop looking at price. I hate when people say I trade price. Well, I don't think you should. You should trade what the market's telling you. So people look at price on a day like today, and what are they saying to themselves? Oh, geez, we've come in too much. I can't buy. I can't sell it here. Really? Until we got this two-sided trade, what did this market tell you as soon as F took out C's low? It told you one thing and one thing only. Short. F, G, H, I, J, K. Short. You weren't wrong on any short. You were wrong on most longs. So again, if you made money today on the long side, congratulations, but you're lucky. Unless you really did it when it finally found two-sided trade here and earlier here. But you know what? That's not when people look to buy it. They're not looking to buy it in here. They're looking, because it's human nature when we're free-falling, to buy it. I'm buying it at F slow. Wrong. G, wrong. H, wrong. I, wrong. So, again, that is what my trading room is about. Okay, I had a great day today. I wish we had these days every day, but they're rare. So I need to take advantage of them. I got all my staple trades. I got, everything against turnovers, ebb and flow, single prints, you name it. I'm not going over all the trades. But that's what's important about my trading room. It's not about my trading. It's about showing you what's happening and trying to explain what the market is visually showing us. Sometimes people just want to do what they got to do. Now, I think for the most part, my room stays out of trouble because they've heard me over and over again, right? You're only going to learn through repetition. That's what you have to learn yourself to start picking something up. Like when F took out C's low, you knew something changed, right? We went from good tempo in A and B, then it dried up C, D, E in the beginning of F, but late in F period, and I said to the room, and I was eating at that time, I'm like, something's changing here. They're getting, friskier. And then F went down, and then G opened with single prints. Now we took back that set, but then boom, down she went. So again, hopefully you guys and gals survived. So I'm going to go to the charts now because I have these in bigger increments. So I'm not going over all these destinations. But we do have 4 sets of single prints and a quadruple distribution day down. Now, it's not a quadruple because there's 4 sets of single prints. You could have a double distribution with 7 sets of single prints if they single print out the whole day. But when you start getting the distribution separated by 3 time frames, that's when you get the more distributions. Okay? Now, let's go to on the chart. And by the way, one other thing. When I put these videos up now, I'm putting a link. I've been talking about Tradeify a little bit. So I trade. So before we get to the charts, I trade my own money first. Every day. Okay? After that, I'll trade some prop funds. The one I really enjoy the most is Tradeify. Gotten paid by them a lot, and in fact, I'm going live with them. I'm also an affiliate with them. If you have any interest, I think they're one of the best ones out there. I have a link that you could use through me to sign up with them. I'd appreciate it if you did that. You don't have to, but I'd appreciate it if you do. But I do think they're the best ones out there because I've said their customer service is excellent. They pay within minutes. They're not easy. They're not easy. It's a 20% consistency rule. But I'll tell you what, I'm not thrilled about it, but it does certainly teaches you some really, really good discipline. So, again, keep that in mind. Now, let's get to the charts. And more importantly than that, come join my trading room. We have a lot of people listening here. For what I charge, which is much, much less than most rooms out there, okay? I don't understand. If you're going to try to take trading as either a second career because you're still working or a full-time career, okay? Why don't you come and try to learn exactly with charts, the profile, and just trading in general, what we're looking at. We always give both sides and give the odds. Everything's about odds on who is in charge or in control at the moment. I've been doing this for a long time, okay, since 1983. I enjoy doing it, and I love to educate and try to give people an edge. So let's look at the Russell first. The Russell exploded out of balance in November. It lasted 1 month. Is that familiar? We did that in November of 2021. So 3 years later in 2024, we did the same thing. Now this time we had an inside month in December. That year it went from bull to balance. Now, since the inside month came out of it to the downside, still balance, right? Now, February took out, I think, last month's high, right? Yes, not by a lot, but they did. So with a week to go now, they've come way off the highs of February. So, again, you want to call this a 4-month balance, that's fine. But the bottom line is this. Last month's low, if you take that out, you'd be coming out of balance to the downside. So again, everything is subjective. Some people will call this a 4-month balance. Some people will call it a 2-month balance. I don't have a problem with either one. I'll see how we end next week when we do our recap. If we rally by some chance, I would call it a 4-month balance. But if we don't rally, it would be a 2-month balance for me. So the monthly is firmly balanced. The weekly on the Russell is down. They're below the 20, above the... Oh, no, I don't like doing that on the weekly, just the daily. The weekly is down. Okay? In fact, I was using not last week's low, but this week's low from February 3rd. It's down for me. Now, some people might still say it's balanced and use this weekly low from January 13th. I don't have a problem with that. But for now, I'm calling them down. I'm not going to ignore this weekly low if it gets there or when it gets there. That weekly low right now, and again, I'm using IWM because they're much cleaner, the ETFs, than the futures as far as the charts go. So I'm going to round that out. 214, this weekly low is $217.46. So we're still $3.50 away from it. But for now, I'm going to call the weekly down. So the monthly's balance, the weekly's down, and for sure, the daily's down. Now, what do you notice on the daily that's very important? 200-day moving average. Look at that. In the last year, all of last year and so far 2 months, we've touched it once, rallied. We touched it twice, rallied. And now here's the third time. Is the third time the charm for the Bears and they don't rally off it? I'm not sure yet, right? We closed at 217.80. It's at 218.40. So this is the first time. The other 2 times traded it, and what happened? We rallied and closed above it, right? Not today. But one day does not make a market. The reason I follow righties because sometimes they could be the canary in the coal mine. So going forward, this is a very important level. Okay? The last 2 times they rallied pretty good off it. They never saw it again. Rallied, came back, didn't see it again. But this time, rallied and did see it again and closed. So again, if we rally off of here, maybe nothing changes. But we have to see. So the monthly is balanced, but the weekly and daily are down in the Russell. NQ, it's a 3-month balance. Nothing's changed. Now remember, triple Qs have made all-time highs. Okay? NQ is not. But it's a 3-month balance. Nothing wrong with that. The weekly, technically, you can even call the weekly up in NQ, right, from the last 2 weeks, if you want to. I don't have a problem with that. Or you can still call it balance. Now remember, NQ, triple Qs made a new high on their weekly. So did NQ, because NQ's yearly high came on Wednesday. So again, it is very, very subjective. Do you want to call this up? Even with this move today, you can call the weekly up. We didn't take out last week's low, my friends. So again, I was calling it, if I'm not mistaken, last week. I think I called it balance, but we are one time framing up now, 3 weeks. So you know what? Even with this horrible day today, I'm going to call the weekly up right now in NQ. So the monthly is balanced. The weekly is up. The daily is down. So they're in all 3 different time frames. NQ made an all-time high 3 days ago. NQ didn't. They didn't really get close. And now we're down. So it remains. So monthly balance, weekly up, daily down. Now let's go to the S&P. I'm calling the S&P a 4-month balance because I think last month's low got close enough to November's low to use that as our balance low. Again, you want to use January, that's fine. But I'm most likely going to use November. So it's a 4-month balance for now. Again, that's not a problem. Unless next week we really had a down week and took out last month's low and have an outside month down. But for now, it's balanced. What is our weekly? Well, it's kind of the same as NQ. We didn't take out last week's low. We just missed it. But we barely stretched the all-time high in ES. I'm calling it balance. I'm going to make them prove to me they could push higher. So I'm going to call ES's weekly balance. How big is the balance? 5 weeks. The last 5 weeks. Okay? And the daily is down. Okay? Below the 20, right at the 50. We have not traded at the 200-day moving average. We didn't trade at it once last year and so far this year. It continues to move up. It's at 568.67. So we'll see if we come out of, the daily's down. But if we come out of the weekly balance down instead of back up, we can finally test it. I want to check triple Qs one more time. I don't know. I'm still deciding if I'm calling that upward balance. But regardless, yes, the day was poor. The day was poor. There's no doubt about it. But please keep in mind it is only one day, right? We have 75 million on the tape right now. Again, it's an expiration. That is the highest volume of the year in SPY. That is not saying much. I know this video is long, but look, if you listen to me, you listen to me not for my trading, but to understand charts, the profile, and what the market's attempting to do. I hope this does help. Again, I would appreciate it. You like and subscribe to this channel every day. Again, come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. I think we have a lot to offer to help you see the market in a much better light. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.